You know, one thing I feel like I was definitely like born in the wrong time. Maybe this reincarnation thing, and I just was screwed up choosing to come here this time or something. Because like the time when the world was decent was almost over. I If I'd been born in the '60s or '70s or something, I would have had a house of my own years ago. Maybe had a farm going. Maybe I would have had a business. Just nowadays, everything is so expensive and it's hard to even start out from nothing, you know? In the '60s and '70s, even into the '80s, man, if you had a fucking any kind of job, you could have like basically have a part time job even, and like, you know, less than a week's pay, you could be renting a house. And there are all kinds of deals where you could make low payments on a house to even buy a house, even with a relatively small amount of money back then. Maybe I would have been married and had some kids, you know? We've reached this time in history where it feels almost just hopeless, honestly. And I hate to admit it, but that's what it feels like. It just feels because I can see the writing on the wall, man. I can see the BRICS currency likely to take over from the take over world reserve status probably, and you'll see the dollar just become basically practically worthless. And you'll see the with the inflation coming and with all the robots and AI and everything that's been developed and still being developed. I mean, they won't even need people to work jobs anymore. As it is already, they don't really need many people to work jobs in reality, but they still have people doing things, and a lot of it's just busy work. It's just to keep people distracted, basically, and to keep people from waking up and revolting or something, because they feel like they have give people some illusion of little control over their life, when really what they're doing is taking your life away and buying you for pieces of paper. And it's just hard to even spend real money anymore, like gold and silver, diamonds, rubies, whatever, gemstones. Do you have any kind of real economy or barter system or anything? They've got us basically by the balls, man. And it's fucking sad as hell and it's sick. I don't hardly know what to do. I've been I mean, there was something that it worked, man, for a while, but now it's got to the point where it's like it doesn't even seem like a fucking viable option to make enough money to be able to even live. To just go out and get some kind of minimum wage job or something. It seems like and not just because of how ridiculously high the prices are and the way the things are rigged, so you can't rent a place or buy anything unless you have a ridiculous amount of money and It's all about your credit score and this, that, and the other thing. But it's like, knowing not only is that stuff true, but that the US dollar is headed for collapse. There's banks falling left and right. People are getting money taken out of their accounts. There's bank bail-ins, and you've got all these other countries in the world siding against the US to take the world reserve status of the currency away. And you've got them trying to develop these digital dollars that'll just be able to shut off and completely control everybody. And it's just like, so it's almost like, why? Like, why, you know? It's like, what's the fucking point almost in working, spending your whole day and a day of your life for money that isn't even going to be worth anything? It won't buy you anything. It won't buy you a house. It won't buy you. It won't pay rent. It won't get you into an apartment. It's just money for the sake of money, but not enough to pay for anything you need. And you just sell your time and your labor, and it's like you get nothing out of it, basically. They've got us fighting over scraps, crumbs on the floor of their fancy table, you know? And it's just fucked up, man. Most of the wealthiest people in the world now, and even in the past, are basically robbers and murderers, thieves, you know? It's still the way it is now, and it's sad, and it's fucking sick. And they created this world, it's just ugliness. It's like they cut down all the forests to build shopping malls or something. Turned everybody into mindless consumers that work like slaves every day so they can buy a new TV set or nicer looking car or something. It's just like, it almost seems pointless, and I feel like giving up because, like, what the hell am I gonna do? I mean, how exactly am I supposed to get hired making, get paid $30 fucking dollars an hour or more? How's that gonna fucking happen? I don't have a fucking college degree. I don't have years of work history behind me that I can prove, you know? If I go fucking apply at McDonald's or Taco Bell or something, they're liable to hire some meth addict or kid fresh out of high school before they'd hire me at this point, you know? Even though, for all my dumbass behavior stemming from alcohol, I probably have the, intelligence level to, at or beyond that of like a college professor. But it doesn't matter, you know? It's like, It's better off in this world if you're dumb and ignorant. You don't know what's going on. Because then you can live, pretend like everything's okay when it's not, you know. And you don't know how screwed up everything is. In a lot of ways, I wish I didn't know. I wish I didn't know the things I know. A lot of stuff. I probably could have had a much happier life if I was, you know, retarded or something, or if I just had like an IQ of 70 or 80 or something, and I never looked into things, and I just watched the sports ball and. I probably, if I was like that, if I was more like that, like I'd probably have like a wife and 3 kids and a house and held down some steady job for years and be perfectly happy, popping my fucking pharmaceutical pills and shit. No idea what's going on. It must be nice, man. To not see what's going on, to not see how bad things are, to be able to live and look at the world the way it is today and think that everything's fine. And or imagine being one of those people that looks at the state of the world and actually thinks that things are getting better. God. I thought the world was going to be so good, you know. I had so much hope when I was a kid, and now I'm looking at things and it's just the ugliest, fucking most terrible thing. Worse than I ever could have imagined in my wildest nightmares. And it makes me so sad to think about it, to see things go the way they have. The way that looks like they're heading. It's like there's just this big drive, this big push worldwide, especially in the West, to just push us into absolute, like, dystopian science fiction level horror, you know? And it's just sad, man. It's like there's demons running the fucking world, man. You know? And it's like more and more people are getting taken over. This guy called Regato Bonner, he has this YouTube channel. He talks about some of the stuff. Like he says it's like this. Like there'll be say you got a room of he explained it kind of like this. You got a room with like 10 people or whatever, right? And one of them is demon possessed. And the one that's demon possessed starts talking and starts starting trouble with other people in there, and they touch them, or somehow the demon spreads out and it takes over the next body, and then there's 2, and then those 2 do the same and it spreads out, and then there's 4, and there's 6, and there's 8, and there's 10. Then, you know, before it's over, it's like almost everyone in the room is possessed, you know. And it's like that just spread out. I mean, there's a lot of people walking around that aren't, but they're very heavily influenced, or they're completely hypnotized in a sort of like a trance-like state, so they have no idea what's going on. Most people are like that, but then there's a fair amount of people that are just almost like fully possessed or something. If you look at it that way, I mean, that's certainly what it seems like. Or very, very heavily influenced, at least. I've had them in me before, like, that's how I know about fucking demons and stuff. One of the first times I recognized them was within myself. When I was younger. Something that God showed me, kind of, you know. And I was able to start purging them out, and they'll get in your fucking head. And like, you'll see it a lot of the time. You'll see somebody just fly off the handle and get really angry about something that is just nothing, you know. And they'll go off on you and cuss you out and get all loud and mean and stuff for basically no reason. And you'll see this Jekyll and Hyde shit over and over. Somebody that's nice 1 minute, and then it seems like just this darkness comes through them, and they just say all kinds of things to hurt you and deceive you. And when it's someone you cared about, someone you loved, you know, it's just like they're gone. It's like they're gone, and there's this persona inside of them that pretends to be them every now and then to try to lure you into trusting them or thinking that they're on your side again, and they just manipulate you and attack you, basically tear you down. It's kind of what it's like with my dad, you know. And it's just, it's not normally something I talk about, is the demon possession fucking aspect of what's going on here. It's something like that. There certainly is something like that. I guess the Gnostics say there's these things called archons or whatever. It's kind of a taboo topic that people don't talk about, you know. I could talk about more interesting stuff than some of the stuff I talk about. If maybe I should try and make a video about how to make giants. How to make giant plants, giant animals, giant people. Not many people know that they've done experiments with that and they figured it out. It's just different environmental factors. It's about controlling an environment, something like a biodome, a biosphere. Altering the levels of oxygen, gravity, and minerals, and the radiation levels, and so on and so forth, in the environment. And yeah. It's interesting. It sounds batshit, but now they've actually done experiments. There was only one that I've ever seen video footage of, but I haven't been able to find it again. It's like that video is gone or something. It was some church group or something that funded a study to try to prove that giants, you know, this, so by creating a different environment, they were able to grow giant, you know, tomatoes, giant insects, giant goldfish, you know. It's interesting. I don't know, I guess I'm more focused on talking about, like, just how screwed up the world is and hopeless everything fucking seems sometimes. Because I can't help but see it that way. It's just screwed up. And I used to pray to God all the time, and I still do, but I can't help but feel like I gotta call him out kind of in some ways now, because I see I mean, because nowadays it almost seems like he's like a, you know, imagine a firefighter or a group of firefighters sitting in their fire truck out front of a house that's just burning to the ground, and people inside are screaming like, "Help us!" And they just sit back and watch, you know. It feels like the level of inaction is so vast in the The way that people have just been given over to this evil. Plus, I couldn't help but notice over the years, it seems like even the Bible and everything else, it's just another aspect of obedience training. Yeah, that's what every message from everything in the world now is the same message basically, whether it's from the school system or the news or religion itself. It's all the same fucking message basically. Bow, scrape, worship, be obedient, turn the other cheek. You know, it's kind of the same message throughout everything. Surrender, kneel, bow, obey, worship. I'd say that's a far cry from setting the captives free. For you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free, right? Kind of seems to work pretty much way opposite of that. It's like the more you see and the more you realize what's really going on, the more it's just so depressing and you feel hopeless. And God, I can't even think about. It's so hard to think about the stuff that I think about because, God, I just feel like I want to bury my head and cry. I want to go. I feel so fucking powerless. Like it's like, it would be like if you found a group of people, like your family, tied to the train tracks or something, right? And you ran up to start to try to untie them. And then the second you untie their hands and all the slightest, they grab a hold of you and hold you down on the train tracks next to them. And they say, there's no such thing as trains, silly. Oh. I guess there is. Didn't you see that thing with a big puff of smoke coming out? It's going coming right for us. Don't be crazy. You're just being paranoid. What are you talking about? Grab him. He's trying to get up. It's like shit. God, I don't know what to do, man. I hope there really is some righteous, loving God that's going to show up somehow and save us. Or some kind of benevolent fucking alien overlords or something. But if they're so ever, if aliens or God is so freaking ever loving, benevolent, and good, then where the fuck are they? What's taking them so long? You know? Why don't they show themselves? And they stop the fucking horrible, fucking evil shit going on in the world. Alright. I guess that's enough of that rant.